stack sats. Amigos know what I'm saying. I think, therefore I stack more sats. Bitcoin amigos ain't playing. A Satoshi saved his freedom earned. Hold your keys, don't get burned. The dollar failed, lesson learned. A Satoshi saved his freedom earned. I think, therefore I stack sats. Amigos getting it done. I think, therefore I stack more sats. Bitcoin amigos having too much fun. A Satoshi saved his freedom earned. Hold your keys, don't get burned. The dollar failed, lesson learned. A Satoshi saved his freedom earned. Sats you save today become freedom tomorrow. Bitcoin is the way to live your dreams someday. I think, therefore I stack sats. Amigos know what I'm saying. I think, therefore I stack more sats. Bitcoin amigos ain't playing. A Satoshi saved his freedom earned. Hold your keys, don't get burned. The dollar failed, lesson learned. A Satoshi saved his freedom earned.
Hold on. Too many chords here. All right, I thought we were ready. I was sitting here listening to the song, enjoying it. And turns out I wasn't ready. There we go. Hello out there. We're on the air. All righty. Welcome back, everybody. I see the chat's buzzing. It's good to see. We'll start the day with this. Wow, Lazy River. Coming in hot with the orange. Why is it super zoomed in here? What's going on? With the orange super chat, $20. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I set a goal this morning on the channel allows me to do that. I set a goal for 10 super chats, $20 each. And I guess Lazy River took it to heart. So thank you. That's one heck of a way to start the show today. I very much appreciate that. I wouldn't say I'm under the weather today, but I wouldn't say I'm over the weather. Actually, that's a lie. I am very much over the weather. We need some sunshine here. Dale knows what I'm talking about. We need some sunshine here. It's been pretty gloomy here. I don't know. Yesterday, I just had a really off day. Oh, I thought we had Arnie here, but he snuck off. Took the long way around, I guess. Okay, Zapstream. Let's see what's going on over there. Let's see what's going on Rumble. And let's get to it today. We got a good show. This is the last show of 2024. Kind of sad. Time's just been flying. It almost seems like we're on 2x speed right now or something. I know some people like listening to this show on 2x, but it feels like we're living in 2x right now. I don't know why. Anybody else get that vibe? anyways, let's leave Lazy Rivers up there for just a couple more seconds because it is very, very much appreciated here. Okay, Zapstream, we got a couple people over there. Let's check on the Rumble machine. Saw some people subscribe to the Rumble yesterday, which is good. Bitcoin Amigos are also on Rumble. We're going to be taking that pretty seriously in the future. And I'll have more info on that at a later date. Okay, we got a couple people watching in Rumble. We got all our bases covered here. We got Zapstream, we got YouTube, we got Rumble, and we got the YouTube Zapstream right here. So thank you once again, Lazy River. Oh, I see another star coming in here. What do we got? $1.99 from Johnny. Thank you, Johnny. Auto Star Super Chats. Yes, let's do that. Lazy River, Johnny, coming in hot to start the show today. The final show of 2024. Ginger says, good morning. Going to miss this one, unfortunately. Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. See you all in 2025. Well, thanks for coming by. Thanks for the comment. And thanks for being part of the community here, Ginger. Clean Your Machine. Happy New Year to you as well. And Jay, Happy New Year when you get there. Cheers, everybody. I titled this one, The Best Year in Human History. And I really believe that, hold on here. I always shower right before the show, so my hair's sometimes still wet. I titled this one, The Best Year in Human History. 2024 was one of the best in human history, I think. Although we faced some, a lot of difficulties, a lot of uphill battles, but we made it through. And I think you have to go through some shit to really appreciate the good stuff. And I think the good stuff is officially coming our way now. So Cleaner Machine, Jay, Happy New Year. Brandon, good to see you, buddy. Lori's in the chat. Good morning, everyone. Looking forward to what next year brings. Me too. I think we're going to spend the majority of time talking about that kind of stuff today. I didn't end up doing my podcast yesterday. I'm going to do it after the show today. So we'll see how things go today. Kind of what I want to propose to everybody out there is going to be more of a laid back stream today. I mean, most really are, to be honest with you. But it's going to be not as focused on Bitcoin as it usually is. So if you have any, I guess while we're kind of getting settled in here and everything, if you have any questions, we'll just kind of do like I hate the AMA stuff, but if you do have any questions that aren't necessarily related to Bitcoin, with the channel, with business stuff, with the venture funds we got, anything, or just resolutions, goals, stuff like that, even if it's not a question, just throw in the chat and we'll just kind of discuss it all today. How does that sound? Well, we got a Zap over on Zapstream. I can't see who it's from yet. Oh, the Grinder. The Grinder's in the chat. Zapped 1,000 sats. The man, the myth, the Grinder, also known as the Grincher. Oh, we got another fat zap here. Whew. Look at this. 10,000 sats to Arnie's wallet. 10,000 sats. Happy New Year's Eve. Love you. From Fred. Damn. We're off to a good start here. This is the kind of shit we need. Get me fired up here first thing in the morning. Thank you, Grinder. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Lazy River. And thank you, Johnny. Appreciate those very much. All right. Joey. Joey and his beautiful looking dog there. Happy New Year's. Tom, good morning. Bodie, good morning. Ian, Happy New Year's to you as well. What are we? What's on the agenda tonight, everybody? I'm hitting the road here right away. I'm hitting the road in a little while. We're hitting the road. Everybody in the house except for Lucky is coming today. Lucky's gonna have to tough out the cold today. Poor cat. But it's got a warm, safe place to sleep every night. So I don't know what more he could ask for, honestly. New Era Eve. All right. I like that. I believe that as well, actually. I know that there's a lot of era talk within the Taylor Swifties seem to be one of the buzzwords in 2024, the era. But I really believe that we are headed into a brand new era, truly. And that's why I titled the show that today, The Best Year in Human History. I really believe that 2025 is going to be, we might not know it at the time. I know as we go day to day, week to week, even month to month, it's hard to really take things in. But I think when we look back in at the end of our time here, I think we're going to look back to 2025 as being one of those years, or the year, not one of the years, but the year. There's Dale. Morning, Dale. Pipeline Podcast. We are live. Good morning. Timber Crasher, Locks Guy, a couple of our Bitcoin Journeymen. Good to see you. Separate X. Happy New Year Eve to you. I was going to ask you, over the 2025 outlook of Bitcoin, in your view, how do you view it all going out? If you can share some words on it. Yeah, I actually got some predictions here, so we'll maybe save those for a little bit later on. I got a couple predictions for Bitcoin and just the ecosystem as a whole. Grinder says Christmas is over. Yeah, that's right. I guess he removed his Santa hat officially. Happy New Year to you as well, Grinder. I appreciate the sats and the support throughout the year. It has been a great year. This was the first full year of the Bitcoin journey. Started back in 2023, about 13 months into this thing. And I'm pretty happy with everything, how things have gone. And I know that we're just getting going here, which is kind of the cool thing, exciting part. It's like, yeah, it's been a good year, but we got lots to go. And Grinder says, Arnie, not your keys, not your coins. Yeah, don't worry. Arnie knows all about that. Arnie watches every time I'm watching a video on YouTube, he's watching it there with me. And I don't think he doesn't tune in here anymore, but I know he's listening, because as soon as I say goodbye to everybody, he shows up. So he knows. He's got his sats in cold storage. Jay says, what are you going to do to stack more Bitcoin in 2025 than you did in 2024? That's a good question. I would like to say that I'm going to lean in more on NOSTR and Zapstream and Fountain and stuff like that. But I feel like 2024, I went pretty hard on especially NOSTR. And I mean, we do the Zapstream every day. I stream it on Zapstream. Hey, Spaceman, Zap 420 sats. Good morning, Jor, Arnie, and all you super groovy Zap streamers. Thank you. That's a great Zap and a great comment, Spaceman. Overall, though, I just think that I think the goal to get more Bitcoin is to add more value to the world in any way that you can. And I got a couple areas of focus on this year. I wrote them all down this morning. I did a bit of I usually write a blog in the morning, or sometimes I publish them, sometimes I don't. But I did a bit of looking ahead goals, I guess, this morning. And I got three of my focuses this year in Bitcoin anyways are going to be the 365 days of Bitcoin. I think that's going to be a big one for me. I got to post a video every day about Bitcoin. It's a brand new tier on Patreon, and it's going to be basically starting from zero to, I say about 90%, but it's probably less than that. But everything that you would need to know about Bitcoin, anything above that, I think will be kind of just a bonus. So you can join that now. We had a couple people join that tier yesterday. It's called 365 Days of Bitcoin. And it is. I think that it is a very long-term thing. You can't learn Bitcoin in watching a 2-hour podcast. You can't learn it in a week or two. It's got to be a long-term thing with a very long-term lens. And so 365 Days of Bitcoin, I think if you watch those, you're going to have a pretty good grip and grasp on what's going on in Bitcoin and how you can best protect your Bitcoin. And the other two are going to be the 8 Satoshis venture I'm going to be building out in 2025, which is also very exciting. I think we have almost 50 people who have joined that tier. I didn't really know how it was going to go, honestly. I thought it was a good idea, but you never know. I'm one of those guys who just kind of throws a lot of shit at the wall and sees what sticks. And this one seems to have stuck. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense. That's why usually when things make sense and you can't really argue against them, then they're successful. So 8 Satoshis, and then the Bitcoin Citadel, our new Bitcoin advisory group that we've been kind of building in the background here for the last couple months, is pretty much ready to go. And a big part of that is going to be our super backed protocol. I think we're going to be the only Bitcoin advisory firm, company, venture that's going to be offering that service. And in my opinion, that is by far the best way to store your Bitcoin. Like, not even close. And so I could talk about it till I'm blue in the face, but at some point, people are going to realize that your Bitcoin keys should be encrypted on your hardware device, and they should be encrypted, the backup version of that. So those are my 3 focuses, and I think that, you know, if I focus my time and energy on those 3 things, then they're going to grow. Oh, look at this. We got another zap. I love this thing. It just lights up green right in front of me. We got look at that, 2025 sats. That's a clever one. I like that. I think that this one's from Dale, from Murphy the Wheaten Terrier in Saskatchewan. I like that. That's clever. 2025. Cheers. And maybe with that, let's get to, let's check out, hold on here. What do we need to do? I thought I had this. Yeah, we do. So if you are somebody out there who, you know, has been buying Bitcoin and you've been sending it to some sort of device or phone wallet, I've actually been setting quite a few of these up with people in the last couple of weeks. These 2, mostly this one so far. I know there's been a couple people order the multi-sig bundle, but there's been a lot of Jade setups in the last couple of weeks. And I got to say, I'm a very big fan of this device, the Jade. And there are downsides, don't get me wrong. There's trade-offs with everything, right? I'd say the main downside with the Jade, being completely honest with you, is the QR code, the scanner. I think that the QR code, the screen's too small in here. And I think that it kind of has a hard time. It just takes a little bit of patience. And I think that we're so used to everything just being so instantaneous, especially within Bitcoin. But this requires a little bit of patience, and it requires a little bit of adjustments in terms of your settings and your density and stuff like that, which I'm slowly getting to learn here. But overall, I love this device because it actually, you can set it up in a way where it doesn't even store the keys on here, which is really cool to me. So the keys aren't actually, you can set it up in a way where the keys aren't actually stored on this device. You actually have to scan your QR code in order to access and put in your passphrase to access your device, to sign any transactions. So it's it's a really cool device. It's very small, very easy to store and everything. Again, the only downside is the QR stuff, but I am learning ways to speed that up. And it's not that it doesn't work. It just takes a little bit of time, some small tweaks, and some patience as well. So anyways, this is from our good friends at QuickBit in Regina. Going back to Dale's comment here. Did I take it off? Yeah. In Saskatchewan. So I think that this is the only brick and mortar Bitcoin store in Canada, QuickBit. I've been saying that, so nobody's argued me yet. So I'm just going to assume that that's correct. So you can get these 2 bundles here. There's a multi-sig and the starter kit, and they're very reasonably priced. And if you use the code 88SATS, 88SATS, you get 15% off of that. So definitely check out the bundles and just check out the website. They got hardware wallets on there. They got seed backups. They got bundles. They got panties for Bitcoin, books, shirts, hats, hoodies, anything you need related to Bitcoin, you can find at QuickBit. And the reason I guess you choose them over ordering directly from Blockstream is I'd say the main 2 things would be the fast shipping. They send it out within the day or 2 of the order, and the service. Any issues, any questions or anything like that, it's always nice to be able to pick up the phone and just call somebody and talk to them. And unfortunately, companies like Blockstream, like CoinKite, like Foundation, they don't really have a phone number that you can just call. You can talk to somebody eventually, but you'll probably be waiting a while. And I don't think that they like people calling very much. I'd like you to try getting a hold of Blockstream. I could be wrong, but just my experience with these bigger corporations and stuff, you're going to be waiting a while. All right, look at this. We got Rick in the chat. Rick was in the Rumble yesterday, and there's another zap here that came in. Hold on. Another 2025 sats came in from an anonymously. I like that one. That's a good zap. It's a not quite a fad zap, but I would say a solid zap and clever. So how are we doing for the likes here, Rick? Anybody on Rumble? Let me know. I'm going to keep streaming to Rumble until they shut us down. 64 people watching, 30 likes. That's pretty piss poor. Pretty piss poor at best. So if you're watching on Rumble right now, I can see the live chat. Let me know. Should I keep streaming on Rumble? Should I gas Rumble? Oh, by the way, huge news in the household last night. I don't know what time it happened, but we got the Start9 set up. We got Bitcoin Core downloaded, and we officially have the entire Bitcoin blockchain up to date. It took about a day and a half, I would say. It said the video I watched said it could take up to 4 or 5 days, but it took a day and a half for me. So I must have decent internet here. But anyways, I'm officially a node runner, I think. I haven't connected to my Sparrow yet, but I'm going to in the next couple weeks. But anyways, I'm officially running a node, which is pretty cool. It's been it was my only goal for 2024, and I snuck it in on the very last day. So pretty much how my entire high school, college, and university went. Months to do it, but get it done on the last day. Alan says 2024 can suck it. I thought it was a pretty good year. I thought it was a pretty good year myself. Nick, good morning. Cheers to you, my friend. We got Duncan in the chat. And we got Ian. Happy New Year from Australia. New subscriber here. Welcome, Ian. We got a lot of great Ians in this community here. All right, well, Rumble, there's more people watching in there, but there must be, thumbs are broken in Rumble, I guess. We got Juan. Happy 2025. God bless all. Buck 52,000. Good morning. Crypto Mindset. Happy New Year to you. And when is the PM getting tossed? I don't know. I've honestly stopped paying attention to it. I'm trying my best to take Jeff Booth's advice and just, it's one of those things. And I really believe this myself, is that the more, there's another zap. The 2025 ones are coming in. Happy New Year, Jor and Arnie. All the best for 2025. 2025 zap. Thank you. But it really is one of those things. And Jeff Booth has taught me quite a few things. And one of my goals here actually is to, not my goals, but I'll talk about this in a bit. But one of the things I'd like to see happen in 2025 is have Jeff Booth on the show here. And I don't think that he would, I messaged him about a year ago now, probably, when we had like 300 subscribers on the channel, and he said that he would come on. So I don't think that there's an issue. I just wanted to be kind of ready and confident to have a conversation with Jeff Booth before having him on here. So something to look forward to in 2025. But the point of that, hey, look who it is. Hi, buddy. You're getting some zaps today. You want to say thanks to everybody? He says thanks with his eyes. But anyways, one of the things I learned from Jeff Booth is to just stop paying attention to the old system. Because one of the questions everybody asks him is like, when's this going to happen? When are we going to move to Bitcoin standard? And his reply is, You don't have to wait for anybody. Just do it yourself. Because the more time and energy and attention you give to the old system, the stronger it becomes. It doesn't do any good yelling and screaming and bitching about what's happening. It really doesn't. And I've gone through the hard lesson of that myself, trying to yell and scream and bitch about it, and nothing was accomplished. So what I'm focusing my time and energy on in 2024 and going into 2025 is just building the world that I want to see. That's all we can do individually. So when is he getting tossed? I don't know. I don't care. Honestly, I'm sure if he gets tossed, there'll be some other dipshit that takes his place, and we'll be right back to bitching and complaining some more. So control what you can, focus on what you want to see, and you get to dictate that. That's the truth. I see Alan's over in Rumble, and Letha too. Alan and Letha, thank you for getting some action over there. Drew says, Happy New Year's, Jor and Arnie. All the best in 2025. That looks a lot like this zap that came in. So maybe that was, oh, look at this. We got another fatty here. New Year's stream. All right. Everybody's heading into 2025 with some good karma here. From Scotty V, 5,000 sats, fat zap. Happy New Year to you and Arnie. Thank you, Scotty. Thank you very much. I love the fatty. I love the fat zaps. It's not Friday yet, but we'll take them. Silmariel, getting huge raise next year. We'll stack most of it. Happy New Year, you animals. Cheers. Hey, Rishi. Morning, Jor. Happy New Year's Eve. Looking forward to a great year for Bitcoin. God bless. Ditto, my friend. I mean, 2024, just thinking back on things like how, not only how far this channel has come, we're kind of swimming upstream in a lot of ways on YouTube. Every day I go on there, I'll post a couple videos and there's like 5. It's just weird. I know that YouTube, whether I can prove it or not, I know that they trample down channels like mine as best they can, but you just got to keep swimming. And so there are tough things about it, but there's also really good things. Like if I think about the community here and how many really great people I got to meet in 2025, and not necessarily face to face, but people like Rishi, I could look through the chat here and scroll up, I'm sure, to the people that I had the pleasure of meeting this year and having conversations with. And so it's awesome. It's exactly what Bitcoin's all about, is the community and the network. Eddie, good morning. Pipeline says, question. I got into Bitcoin with Robinhood. They sent a notification saying, watch this video about the history of Bitcoin and get $1 of free Bitcoin at the time. And it went up 140%. Wow. That's a good story. Pipeline says, I'm now buying $5 a day to ease my way into Bitcoin, and now I have 35,000 sats. That's really cool, actually. I didn't know that Robinhood was doing that. So they gave a $1 free of Bitcoin if they watched a video about the history of Bitcoin. Wow. Wow. We don't exactly. Voluntarism was quickly reminded never to share our Bitcoin balances with other people, ever. Bodhi says most plebs are not here yet, and they will need trustworthy help. Yes, that is absolutely correct, and that's why I'm focusing my time and energy on 365 and on 8 Satoshis as well. That's kind of building for the future of the people who will be coming in here. But shorter term, Bitcoin Citadel is going to help a lot of people protect their Bitcoin. And not only that, I think the inheritance part of things is going to be the biggest part. Because you just have to really take a good look in the mirror and say, if something were to happen to me today, what would happen to my Bitcoin? Would my family know what to do with it? Would they know where to find it? Would they know how to access it? Would they know who to call? Would they have a clue? Arnie's back. And so that's kind of one of the big focuses within Bitcoin Citadel, is making sure that your Bitcoin is not only very well protected, but if something were to happen to you, we have a whole protocol based on that you can leave to your family without giving any sort of information away, right? Because the last thing you want to do is leave a piece of paper around your house saying, if something happens to me, here's where the Bitcoin is, here's the key to it, and in plain text. And you just have to keep in mind that if somebody were to come across that, if somebody broke into your house, they now own your Bitcoin because you were taking things, you were doing the right thing. You were trying to set your family up in a way where they could figure out your Bitcoin keys and how to get it, but you're leaving it out there in plain text. And to me, that's a big problem. And so that's what we're trying to help people with, and we'll be helping people with the Bitcoin Citadel and the inheritance protocol. Scotty says, just got a node running also. Are you aware of any specific security measures to take on your home network, etc., when running a node? Oh, I don't think so. I'm not the guy to ask on this. I'm very green to it all, very new. It was easier than I thought it was, and I'll probably do a video talking about my experience with it. But the only thing I've heard so far from the people I've reached out to for help is that you shouldn't be running it over Wi-Fi. It should be directly connected into your Ethernet cable. That's it. And I'm sure you probably know that already, but if not, that's as far as I've got so far. But no, it's been, sorry, my hair's bothering me here. It'll be fun. I think it's going to be a really good learning lesson for me. It has been already, although I haven't done much, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do with this server in the future. It's a big part of like self-sovereignty stuff, which is the direction I'm going into. Nautilus, rats and tigers, this year you will get rich. Interesting. Rats. Do rats make you rich? Oh, there we go. Duncan says, where's my Zap drawer? Forgot to put my name on it. Can't get on Zap stream for some reason. That's okay. That's okay. At least you're trying, and at least you're zapping. So thank you, Duncan. I appreciate that. I'm guessing that was your 2025 one. All right. Yes, Tom says access the node over Tor as well. I haven't got that far yet, but yes, that's I do remember. I think it was Craig telling me that. Craig or Daniel, they've both been very helpful with me. Volunteerism says, I have a Chrome extension that prices everything in Satoshis when I go to a website. Wow. That's a good way to get into the Bitcoin spirit of things and get into the Bitcoin world ecosystem. Okay. Well, should we check on the mempool here? Half an hour in. I did see, let me show you something here. This was interesting to me when I looked over today. So we're currently sitting at block height 877213. Foundry was the winner of the last block and Marathon before that. And right now you're paying about 4 sats per VByte, which I would say is very reasonable. If you're looking to, oh, that's not what I want to do. If you're looking to consolidate some UTXOs. Why won't this move over for me? There we go. Look at these. We had about, let's say, 7 or 8 blocks in a row, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. So if you are looking to, and look at this, the difficulty adjustment still humming, the hash rate, the energy going into the Bitcoin network, absolutely ripping right now. I think we've had about 10 upwards adjustments in a row, which is crazy. But good to see. Very good indicator of the Bitcoin network. So What was I going to talk about there? Oh yeah, somebody asked a question yesterday about UTXOs, because I posted a little clip on some UTXO info yesterday. Let me bring it up here quickly, because I think that this is a question that probably a lot of people have. It's an important part of Bitcoin. A very important part is managing your UTXOs. But where is this comment here? Holy, the amount of spam on my videos right now is nuts. I think there's like 150 comments from just complete spam yesterday on the channel. And there's no way I'm not going to take time and delete all of them. I do my best to delete them when they come in. But anyways, the UTXO question, this is from J. Allen Shaw. And the question is, what is the hard way? What did you learn? I'm seriously asking these questions because no one seems to be able to explain what UTXOs are and why small ones are bad. Is there a way to make them larger and thus, I suppose, better after they are already in my wallet? Does it matter if I don't ever sell my Bitcoin? I only add, never sell. All right, so I'm not going to answer what the UTXO, what they are again, because we talked about this yesterday. But in terms of, is there a way to make them larger? Yes. So every time you send a transaction with those UTXOs, it becomes one new UTXO. So let's say you had a Bitcoin wallet and you had 10 million sats in there. That's your Sparrow balance, 10 million sats. And making up that balance, you can click on the UTXO within Sparrow. And that's why I suggest you use a wallet like Sparrow where you can see your UTXOs. But making up that 10 million sats is one 5 million sat UTXO, one 1 million sat UTXO, and then just a bunch of like 100,000, 200,000, 50,000 sat UTXOs. So all of those combined make up your 10 million sat balance. That's your balance. But each balance just consists of a bunch of UTXOs. That's all it is. Your wallet has a balance, and that balance is made up of a bunch of UTXOs, which to me really resembles cash more than anything else. Because if you had a bank balance on your online banking account, and I said $1,000, there's no UTXOs. There's no breakdown of how they got there. There's no anything. It's just a number on a screen essentially. But with Bitcoin, the UTXOs make up your total wallet balance, which I think is pretty cool. And it's very similar to like if you had $1,000 cash in your wallet, your physical wallet, you would have a couple $100 bills, a bunch of $20 bills, $10 bill, $5 bill. That's the exact same as like UTXOs. So it's very comparable to actual cash in that sense, where online banking, the traditional banking system to me, is just a bunch of numbers that are completely illusionary. But if you wanted to make them larger, what you would do is you just go into, and I'd bring it up here, but I don't really like talking about this or showing balances and stuff on the public shows. But all you would do is you just highlight, you'd go to UTXOs in Sparrow, you'd highlight, you'd click control and click all the UTXOs that you want to consolidate. That's what you do when you want to make it into one UTXO. You consolidate them. You basically just send them to yourself. That's what consolidating UTXOs is. You're just sending the Bitcoin to yourself. You have to pay a little fee on there, but they become one UTXO. So you select them, you go to send, you set your transaction fee, and then you send it. That's why you do this kind of stuff in very low transaction fee environments, because you don't want to waste a whole bunch of sats doing this. You want to make sure that the sats per VByte, the fees, are about, I'd say 5 sats per VByte or less. So that would be that's my answer to that. What was the other question there? Jay Allen? Where was that? Oh, shitski, I lost it. Anyways, sorry. Hope that answers your question. Maybe I'll post that. Maybe not. Oh, look at this. Pipeline says, who here's heard of a covert coin? By the way, it's a hollow coin that looks and feels like a regular quarter. that's hollow enough to hold a micro SD card that you can put on a document with your seed phrase. The coin is inconspicuous and no one can tell it's actually a real quarter. Interesting. I mean, if I know me, I would have that thing lost in about, I don't know, 3 days. So that wouldn't be very helpful for me. But I can see why people like that kind of stuff. All right. What's next here? Okay, well, let's do some predictions here, because this might be a shorter show today. We'll see how busy the chat is. But I mean, if you do have any questions about Bitcoin, super backed, UTXOs, if you want any clarification on that, anything, goals, business stuff, 8 Satoshis, 365, Bitcoin Citadel, anything. If you got any questions, just throw them in the chat, and we'll get through all the comments today by the looks of it, which is good. But anyways, or a prediction. I'm going to talk about some predictions here that I have for 2025, and then we'll maybe touch on a few that you have in the chat if you have any. So Zapstream, wake up. Rumble, wake up. And YouTube, wake up. So my predictions for the year 2025 within Bitcoin. I got a couple here. So the first one, I think, is talking about Ross. I think this is one of the most important parts of the Trump campaign, and why it got so many Bitcoiners on board, was that Trump said that he would pardon Ross Ulbright on day one. And for those who maybe aren't as familiar, Ross Ulbright was the creator of Silk Road, one of the very early Bitcoin marketplaces that was used for anything. I know people focus on the illicit drugs that were sold on there, but you could buy anything on there. You could buy anything with Bitcoin. And I'm sure if people think back and see how much Bitcoin they spent on some things back then, they might have some regrets. But at the same time, that's all Bitcoin was worth at the time. And so Ross Ulbright, he got in trouble. He's in jail. He's been in jail for, I think, 7 or 8 years now, in very solitary confinement, I believe. But one of Trump's big promises that he made, and that got Bitcoiners very excited and on his side, was that he was going to free Ross on day one. So I don't know that he's going to do it day one. Oh, there's a fatty. That's a fat Zap Tuesday. Oh, anonymous Zap too. I wouldn't say my favorite kind. I like a message in there, but I mean, it's just so cool to me that people send in stuff like that without any sort of, anything in return for it. I guess we show up here every day. That's the return for it. But at the same time, we got 10,000 sats that were just zapped to Arnie's wallet anonymously. So thank you. That is fucking awesome. But going back to Ross there, I think that it might not happen on day one, but I do think that it'll happen probably within the first week of Trump's new administration. I think they will make it one of their priorities to free Ross. And I was kind of hoping that Biden admin might do it before that, just to basically give an FU to Trump and say, we're not going to give you the pleasure of doing this. We're going to do it on your behalf. But it looks like we're running out of time for that. But anyways, that's in 20 days from now, or 21 days. And so I do think that he's going to do that on day one or week one, free Ross. So that's my first prediction. My second prediction here, these are all kind of to do with, maybe not. My second prediction, I think, is probably the boldest one. And that is, I think that 2025 is going to be the year that Bitcoin flips gold in terms of market cap. So if you look at market cap, 1-to-1 with Bitcoin, if they were valued the same by the market, Bitcoin would be at about 900,000 US right now. So, I mean, that kind of gives you an idea of where I think the price is going. I don't think gold's going to fall. I don't think it's going to be a scenario where gold crashes and Bitcoin performs well. I think that Bitcoin is just going to absolutely explode. in 2025. And I think that there's a chance, obviously, don't take this to the bank or anything, but I think there's a good chance that gold will flip, or Bitcoin will flip gold by the end of 2025. It just makes so much sense. And I think that the only way that that will happen is if the US starts buying gold or buying Bitcoin. If the US starts selling gold for Bitcoin, it'll happen pretty fast. But even if the US takes their 200,000 stolen coins, seized coins, adds it to the treasury, and they start making some purchases through selling gold or otherwise, I think that that's going to be the catalyst to flip gold, market cap wise. My next prediction here for 2025 is I do think that we just kind of talked about the U.S. government. I think that's going to be the big hinge of 2025 is what the U.S. government does fairly quickly. And so I think that the U.S. is actually going to either merge with the Federal Reserve. Why is it so hard to say? I hate those words. I think the U.S. Treasury is either going to merge with the Federal Reserve, or the U.S. Treasury is going to start buying Bitcoin, and they're going to create a new U.S. dollar that's backed by the Treasury instead of the Federal Reserve. I think it's going to happen in 2025. And I really think that all of this stuff, I know it sounds kind of insane. It sounds crazy. But I do think that if this is going to work for the U.S., and I think that, say what you want about Trump, but he is a very, very intelligent guy in terms of how markets work, how supply and demand works, everything. He's a master of that kind of thing. He's built his whole life around it before he became a politician. And so I think that Trump understands the importance of time with this, and I don't think he's going to dick around with it. So I think that he's either going to merge the Treasury and the Fed, which I think might be a little bit harder to do, but I don't know the ins and outs of it all. I don't pretend to. Or the U.S. Treasury is going to issue a new dollar that's backed by energy, Bitcoin mostly, and we're going to have two separate dollars for a while. Might happen 2025 or 2026, but I really do believe that Trump is going to act pretty quick with this whole thing. And my last prediction here, and this is kind of along the same lines as all of that, is I think that they're going to eliminate the capital gains on Bitcoin. I think that's going to happen in 2025 in the US. And so just keep that in mind. I mean, this is just my prediction here. Obviously, this is not any sort of advice or based on anything. I just think that if this is all going to happen, it's going to happen fast. It has to. And so the reason why I think that the US is going to eliminate capital gains on Bitcoin is not so much the benefit of the citizen. I mean, that's part of it, obviously, if you're a Bitcoiner. And if you look towards like a country like Czech Republic, I think it's called Czech Republic, Prague, wherever that is from. I think it's still called Czech. But they announced this year that they were going to eliminate capital gains on Bitcoin if you've been holding for 3 years. And I think the US could implement something similar, or they might just say no more capital gains on Bitcoin. And again, I don't know if this is going to be directly for citizens. Governments don't usually operate that way, even the friendliest governments. But I think it's all going to tie into the US government, BlackRock's, the NYDIGs, the MicroStrategies, realizing how scarce Bitcoin is. And I really believe that if they implemented the no capital gains on Bitcoin, that would entice or allow more people to sell their Bitcoin. And whatever Bitcoin we sell is going to flow into that vacuum. The government, the big corporations, the big hedge funds, that's all going to go into their pocket, into their wallets. And so I think that they're going to use that as one of their strategies to get people to sell their Bitcoin. Because I really believe that they're going to have a hard time doing that just in general. But if they're going to say, hey, you got to pay capital gains on sale of your Bitcoin, I think that people are going to hesitate, especially after everything we've seen in the last couple of years. right? Because if you think about it from a Bitcoiner's perspective, why would I sell my Bitcoin today and pay a capital gain on it when I could just wait this thing out? We don't know what's going to happen. There's a new administration, very friendly to Bitcoin, very friendly to crypto. And so why would I rush and sell my Bitcoin, trigger a capital gain, when I can just kind of wait this thing out and see what happens with it? So I do think it'll be firms like BlackRock, Fidelity, the NYDIGs, the people who want the average person to sell their Bitcoin. They need to make it very easy for that to happen. And without any friction there, if you eliminate capital gains on Bitcoin, that allows people to, I wouldn't say it entices people, but people are much more likely to sell their Bitcoin if they don't have to pay any tax on it. And that's what they want. They want you to sell your Bitcoin. And I really believe that if they came out and said no more capital gains on Bitcoin, people would see it as like a nice thing that they're doing. And they'd be like, okay, well, I'll sell some of my Bitcoin, but that's going to them and it's never coming back to you. It's never coming back to the average person. So just keep that in mind. Even if they come out with these, laws and regulations saying no tax on Bitcoin, that doesn't mean you just have to sell it. I mean, it does. It's better for sure. But I mean, you're still looking at your KYC Bitcoin and your non-KYC Bitcoin. And it's the KYC Bitcoin that you're going to have to worry about this kind of stuff with lending, with paying tax on, with all this kind of stuff. If you got non-KYC Bitcoin, you really don't care if there's capital gains, if there's lending on Bitcoin, because you want to keep that out of the system. You want to keep that in your own possession. You want to trade that back and forth with other Bitcoiners in your network. So those are my predictions for 2025. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be fun to look back in a year from now and see how many of those did or did not come true. Hey, we got a zap from Bodie over on Zapstream. Let's go in 2025, 1,000 sats. Thank you, Bodie. My man. Bodie and I have a couple special plans for 2025. We'll just say that. I don't want to give anything away, but we've been talking about a few different plans, and he's going to be part of Bitcoin Citadel now. He's going to be probably the most important piece of it, honestly. And in terms of connecting people, Bitcoiners with advisors, that's going to be Bodie's role for 2025. And we're also, hopefully, if he does it, and this is a call to action for Bodie, but we're going to be starting a new spinoff or a new show on his channel or a new channel. And it's going to be focused on Bitcoin for like baby boomers, where we both come on, he asks questions, we talk about things, and it's going to be kind of geared towards baby boomers, but it's not going to be strictly for them. It's anybody can show up and learn and ask questions and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of that. All right, we got a lot of comments here to catch up on now. Oh, I see some super chats too. Let's start with those. We got Duchess said, "Good morning, Jordan, Arnie. It's been a few days." Yeah, I took a week off too, so I can't fault you at all. But thank you for the super chat and thank you for the very consistent support in 2024. It's very much appreciated. And Nico says, $2 super chat. What are your thoughts on XRP? To be 100% honest with you, and I do appreciate the super chat, but I'm not going to kiss any butts here. And I don't know if you're looking for me to or not, but I think XRP is one of the worst things that exists. It's the complete opposite of what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is designed to be designed to separate money from state, money from the big boys. And XRP basically puts that in their hands and gives them full control of it and gives them the ability to create as much as they want of it. And it's very centralized. I know that there's more, if you ask an XRPer, they'll tell you it's very decentralized, but that's complete bullshit marketing that XRP does. It's completely centralized. And Bitcoin, on the other hand, is fully decentralized. It's all based on the people running the node. That's who gets to decide the direction of Bitcoin. So my thoughts on XRP are, I would never touch it. I had some in the past. I sold it for Bitcoin once I learned more about XRP, and I will never, ever consider buying more XRP. Why would you? Nico, if you're still here, I would love to hear your opinion on why you think I should hold XRP, and anybody in the chat for that matter. Like, why would I hold it over Bitcoin? Oh, okay. I missed a few here. Quite a few. All right. My favorite part of the show. Q&A. All right. Volunteerism says, how would you bring your seed phrase through airport security? Clearly, you should not take your block plate, as the authorities will simply steal your Bitcoin should you have it in a book. That, honestly, that was kind of my advice before I learned what SUBSTACK was. My advice was, yeah, take your 12 words, take a book, every 50th page, write a new word in there in order. And I mean, it's pretty foolproof still. I do think that that's a really good way to do it. Definitely don't take like a steel plate across the border. You'll be asking for trouble there. But if you just put 12 words in a book, every 10th page, every 50th page, and then when you get it, you restore your Bitcoin wherever you land. But honestly, the best way, the best thing that I would suggest nowadays is use SUBSTACK. And so what that would look like is you would have your hardware device and you put your backup in SUBSTACK, like your 12 words, and it creates a QR code for that. And you create a passphrase with it, or a password. And so in that situation, you would create your little secret text box. You'd put in your private key in there. You'd print out a QR code. You'd set a password. And then you'd take your QR code with you. You'd put it in a book, maybe use it as a bookmark. If somebody came across your QR code, they can't do anything with that. They have no idea what it's for. If they scanned it, couldn't do anything with it. And then so you land, you open up you download the software for it, you scan the QR code, you put in your password, and your seed phrase appears. It just makes so much more sense to me. So much more sense. And you could do it in your head too. I just wouldn't solely rely on that ever. It's a good part of your process, I think, to try to memorize your words, but you never want to be fully reliant on your head, your memory, because anything could happen any day. Trump should free everyone guilty of a drug crime since it's victimless. I agree with that. Truly, I do. I think that the only people who should be in prison, going to this comment, are people who have harmed others. I don't think you should ever be fined or arrested or put in jail for something that has no impact on other people. It doesn't make any sense. So hopefully we'll get back to a world like that. Bodhi says it's going to be called Bitcoin Generations. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. So keep an eye out for Bitcoin Generations coming in 2025. I think we're just going to do a live show every week, similar to this, where people can stop by, listen, chat. Bodhi asks questions, I ask questions, the chat asks questions. Tom says, if Trump does it on day one, it could be a sign of keeping promises. That's what I'm thinking too. It'll be a really good indicator either way of what the next 4 years is going to be. And it would really set the tone, I think, and get a lot of people on his side very early on. I just think it's such an easy win for him to do. Yeah, Jay says, Jory, I'm with you, 1 milli BTC. People don't understand how scarce Bitcoin is. And I think we're going to learn in 2025. Alan says, I'm looking for advice on how to best create an ordinals collection, NFTs on the Bitcoin blockchain. Is there anyone in the community that knows a lot about ordinals? That's a good question. I myself do not, so I cannot help you with that one. But if anybody knows anything about ordinals, put in the chat for Alan. UV pen. I think you guys are overthinking this a little bit. Yeah, don't be messing with UV lights and stuff like that. I mean, with the SUBSTACK, the reason why I love that one is because you only have to memorize one word. That's why I love it at your house. That's why I love it on an airplane. That's why I love it anywhere. Because if somebody comes across your 12 words or 24 words on a piece of paper, they know what it's for. Most people would nowadays. And if they don't, I mean, they're lost. But you put 12 words together, you put 24 words together, that's kind of a dead giveaway that you're getting some Bitcoin. But if you just have one password on Steel or anything, probably Steel, or in your head, in this case, then you don't need to worry about it. Oh, we got some zaps coming in here. Sorry, I missed them. All right, we got 1,000 sats. Happy New Year's Eve, Arnie and the rescue dogs from Lucky the Dog. Duchess with the super chat and the zap this morning. And we got 1,000 sats. Says Happy New Year to the Living the Future crew just past midnight where I am. Best wishes for 2025. Who would that be? I would guess Anarcho. He's truly living the future in Thailand. He's about a day ahead of us here. Okay, what do we got here from Pipeline? Once I realized the value of Bitcoin and that there's a subunit called a Satoshi, had an interesting thought. Since less than 1% of people recognize Bitcoin as the best savings vehicle, will one Satoshi go on the same trajectory that Bitcoin did from less than 1 cent until now? Yes. That's kind of my big thesis in Bitcoin right now. Like, you know how Bitcoiners all kind of have like their own thesis and what they talk about, like Jeff Booth talks about as long as Bitcoin stays decentralized and secure, that kind of stuff. Matt Odell has his stay humble, stack sats kind of very long-term lens. Everything else is irrelevant kind of lens. Mine, I would say, and I'm obviously not comparing myself to people like that, but mine would be when Bitcoin hits $1 million, it's going to go very quickly to 5 million and then 10 million and then 20 million. And the reason I say that is because when Bitcoin hits 1 million, that means that 1 sat will equal 1 cent. And all of a sudden on all the tickers, on all the mainstream news, we're not going to be pricing in Bitcoin anymore. We're not going to be looking at, oh, Bitcoin is $1 million and $25,573 today. They're going to switch to sats, and they're going to say you can get 1 sat for 1 cent. And people are going to start looking at Bitcoin, Satoshis now, as like a penny stock. And they're going to say, oh, I can get 1 sat for 1 cent. All of a sudden it goes up to 3 cents and then 10 cents. And people are like, holy shit. And then it goes to $1. And so when Bitcoin at that stage goes from 1 sat equals 1 cent, all of a sudden the sat goes to 3 cents or 5 cents. In the background there, Bitcoin just went from 1 million to 3 million to 5 million. So when we start pricing it in sats, it's going to go up 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent. But in the background, it's going to be going up $1 million per Bitcoin at that time. Which is crazy. And again, I think that's my thesis that I want to be like remembered for in Bitcoin in a way that, you know, to have the foresight that's the case, because it's not going to go from like it's not going to go from 1 million to 1,200,000 and, you know, $5,000 to, we're just going to stop measuring it at that point. It's going to be too long. People aren't going to, it doesn't comprehend in people's brains like it would for a sat going to 1 cent to 2 cent to 5 cents. So yeah, that's my man, my eyes watering here, as you can tell. Oh, it was Ahsoka in Japan. Yeah, very close, very close. Well, thank you, Ahsoka, for the 1,000 sats and for the wishes. Happy New Year's to you, my friend. Happy 2025. Ahsoka is truly living in the future right now. Ian says, if the US does eliminate capital gains on Bitcoin, do you think the rest of the world would follow suit? Yes, 100%. That's why I think that the US is so critical in this whole forward view here, is because the rest of the world looks to the US. As much as they might not like to admit it, if you look at what happened during the pandemic and a lot of times throughout history, when the US makes a move, the rest of the world usually follows suit. So yes, I do think that, Ian. And it's not gonna be like the US announces it and then 10 other countries do it within the next week. Like it'll just slowly start conversations will begin, laws and regulations will be written in. And then in a couple of years, I'm thinking it'll be pretty standard throughout the world. XRP is the future CBDC. Yes, 100%. That's what they hope for anyways, but it's not going their way. That's for sure. Biden's, what's going on here? Oh, Hunter Biden's laptop. I was wondering what the hell is going on there. Seems like it could be the CBDC we've all been dreading, which means it could skyrocket. I mean, this is kind of my theory that I've had on XRP from day one, since learning about what it is. I thought that it probably would go up. And if you look at the actual chart, long-term chart of XRP, it's like flat line, big jump for 2 weeks, go back down, flat line, big jump for 2 weeks, go back down. That's how it's been. And I think that that's how it always will be. And in my head, I did see a time where XRP actually does do very well in terms of fiat. But it just never sat with me. And honestly, like this probably sounds lame to say, but like I would rather miss out on the profits, knowing that who's behind it, knowing what's involved with that. I just don't like profiting and benefiting from society getting worse. You know what I mean? That's why I love Bitcoin, is because it's going to go up forever and it's going to do a lot of really, really incredible things for humanity. When you can separate the money and state, the world looks completely different. So I did always think that XRP would probably go up. I didn't think it would outpace Bitcoin, but it never interested me to own something that's bad for humanity. From NSK says, I'm ready to sell now at 500K. Who want to buy? Anyone? I'm sure if you actually want to sell some Bitcoin, there'd be people in here. It's always nice to get some non-KYC Bitcoin. Okay, what's this question here? What happens if the human population becomes more than 2.1 quadrillion and we have like 5 quadrillion people? There's not enough sats for each person. Well, I mean, yeah. If my aunt had a set of nuts, she'd be my uncle. That's one of Don Cherry's famous lines. And it's true. What if I would be more worried about this if we were trending in that direction, but we're not. We're trending in the opposite direction of that. There's so much abundance in the world that we never have to worry about population control. That's just that's one of the most evil things that's ever been rolled out to the world, is thinking that we have too many people here. We have so much here. We have so much. We're just very poorly managed. Cleaner Machine says, would your family pay tax on inheritance of Bitcoin? It depends how you do it, I guess. If you did it the right way, if you went through the lawyers and the will and the estate, then yeah, definitely they would. Oh, look at this. No, Ava. This is fun. This is hilarious. Ava says, I'm in Sarasota, Florida, and have someone calling himself Bitcoin Ben here. He seems to have targeted boomers. Smart guy. He's a smart guy. He has a building and a food truck on a major street. So the funny thing, Ava, is actually that's who got me into Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ben. There was several touch points for me, but it was Bitcoin Ben that kind of got me really interested in history, money, decentralization, how it all ties together, and excited about Bitcoin. And I actually worked with Bitcoin Ben for probably 6 months. I was helping him with a few different things within his show and kind of in the background with a podcast and a few other things. He's a great dude. Honestly, I've never met him in real life yet. I plan to, but he knows what he's doing. He's got a very clear vision of what he wants to do, and he's got a really good support team there. So I do think that Ben is going to be extremely successful in Bitcoin. He's also been doing it for 7 or 8 years now online, which is crazy. I mean, I've only been doing this for a year now, and it feels like I've been doing it my whole life. XRP is gay. I mean, you're not wrong. Alan says, I have a very small bag of XRP just in case the world goes mad and it goes to 1,000 a coin. Yeah, I mean, that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you to sell it or anything, but I would never hold it or depend on it. Yeah, exactly. It's just rug pull after rug pull, 100%. 100%. If we are going for gains and ignoring the ethics, then XRP seems like a slam dunk. Agreed. But I'm not ignoring the ethics, and I'm here for the gains, and Bitcoin's been doing just fine, and especially compared to XRP. All right, here's a question from Jen. Can I choose my 24-word passphrase, or is it auto-generated depending on the device that I choose? That's a great question. And I think that it is generated where the past 24 word is your backup seed phrase. The passphrase is different from that. The passphrase would be your 25th word in that case, which creates a whole new level of entropy on it. But your 24-word backup seed phrase is it is generated, and you can add entropy to it by rolling dice and entering the number that you rolled, or I think that's what it is. I've never done it myself, but you can add entropy to it. You just can't choose your own words because, I mean, you probably could. I don't know if the seed signer, I've never created one of those myself. I've only used wallets that have been automatically generated with the seed phrase, but I don't know if the seed signer allows that or not. But you do have to choose from I think it's 2,140 words. I get this wrong all the time, so I should actually get this, make sure I get good info here. I had to give a bit of a disclaimer on the show yesterday because with these live shows, I'm going to get some stuff wrong. Some figures, some information. I can't sit on a live stream for 2 hours a day talking about Bitcoin and get nothing wrong. So there's a lot of people in the comments being like, oh, this guy, I like listening to this guy, but a lot of the things he says is wrong. And then they named one thing where I said the sats. Craig was in the Zap stream and he gave me a figure that was 4,000 sats per house. It was actually 250,000. But I mean, directionally correct and directionally important and relevant. Okay, what was I looking at here? How many words in the Bitcoin seed phrase? No, that's not what I want. How many words in the Bitcoin seed phrase list? Yeah, 20,048 words. So a BIP 39, Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 39, is a standard that defines how seed phrases or mnemonic phrases are generated and used in cryptocurrency wallets. A BIP 39 seed phrase is typically a series of 12, 18, or 24 words randomly chosen from a fixed list of 2,048 words. And look at this. This is a very interesting fact about this that you might not know. And let me share this because it's actually our friends at QuickBit who posted this. So if you actually look at the words and the letters, look at this. It says why only the first 4 letters of a BIP39 seed word are enough. This is from our friends at QuickBit. That was the first thing that came up there. That goes to show the importance of writing blogs and stuff like this. Wow. Anyway, so that will open up. But the thing to keep in mind here is that when you're restoring your 12 words, let's say the word is elephant, it actually only uses the first 4 letters of that word. So if one of the words that's generated is elephant, all you need to know is ELEP. It's just the first 4. And that's why if you look at like the CoinKite steel plate, there's only room for 4 letters on there. It doesn't give like an option to do 10 letters or anything. It's just based on the 4. It's a full word because it makes it easier for people to memorize mnemonically. So pretty cool. Look at that QuickBit. That was posted this summer. So hopefully Dale saw that and understands the importance of writing stuff like that. That's a blog post that showed up first thing in Google. All right, what else we got here? We got lots. Okay. Captain Codeman says, never pick your own words. You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but never pick your own words. C29 Rome says, do you think we'll be able to stake Bitcoin for rewards in the next 3 or 4 years? I mean, you could have staked it a couple of years ago and you would have lost it all. So you probably will be able to, but do you want to? That's the question. Sean, this is a really good question. This is something I've been thinking about in the last couple of weeks. I have it written down in my notepad here even. Sean says, what's the worst case scenario for Bitcoin? So this ties together here in a few different ways for me, because I was just listening to a podcast, and it was with Robin Sayre. I think it's Sear or Sayre. Robin Sayre. And he had Bob Burnett of Bitcoin Barefoot Mining on there. Barefoot Mining. And he was talking about the scarcity of block space. And he did some very simple, quick math to say, this is how many transactions are in each block. So let's bring this up because let's do a little bit of a deep dive into this. I was going to talk about this in the future, a future show, but I think why not today? So if you look at each block here on mempool.space, you can see how many transactions are in each block. Each one of these blocks only has so much space available in it. Is my audio okay here? I'm just going to take a little break here. But let me know if you guys can hear me okay, because it seems like I'm a little bit choppy on my end. So just let me know in the chat quickly if everything's good or if I need to make some alterations here. But anyways, so all these blocks are just a bunch of transactions, right? If we click into this one, you can see that there was 2,992 transactions in here. And you can see them all, very transparent. You can see the fees, you can see where they went to. But the thing that we're focused on here is how many transactions were in each. So 2892, this one only had 1,546. This one had 1,655. I'd say when it's full, when there's lots of demand for people wanting to send Bitcoin, when there's lots of people waiting over here in the mempool to get their transaction confirmed, I'd say that the majority of blocks would have like 4,000 transactions. So his very simple math said, okay, there's 4,000 transactions in each block. There's approximately this many blocks per day, and there's approximately this amount of blocks and transactions per year. And it was a very minimal amount. I forget what it was, but he was saying that the blocks, the chain, the network is going to become so scarce that people are actually going to be buying or directing hash power, selling futures on block space, where a miner would say, this is how many blocks we're going to be able to compile and assemble, construct, and we'll leave this amount of block space for your transactions. And so I think that the worst case for Bitcoin in that scenario would be that the big countries, the big corporations like the US, like BlackRock, like MicroStrategy, they start getting so much hash power, they start getting so many blocks that they control what information, what transactions are on those blocks, that it makes it unusable for certain people. And they basically just discriminate who can and can't use Bitcoin layer 1. I think that that's the worst case scenario for Bitcoin. And what I was thinking about in my own head was that if you think about the internet, which is very similar to Bitcoin, it's a protocol. And if you think back to the early days of the internet, when it was pretty much the wild, wild west, and people might say that was bad, but nobody controlled it. And if you think about email, now with Google, with a few big players, it was Hotmail for a while. Now it's mostly Google. But they basically, even though it's a protocol that anybody can build on, they've basically captured email. Where even when I'm using Proton Mail, an email like Gmail, if I sent an email from Proton to somebody with a Gmail account, Gmail automatically throws that into spam. And I look at it the exact same way as what I think could happen with Bitcoin eventually, where in the very early days here, anybody can use it. There's lots of space. Anybody can build on it. But as we go forward here and as it could become more centralized, and not necessarily by countries and companies owning Bitcoin, but by them owning access to block space, if that makes sense. So think of it like me trying to send a Proton email to a Gmail, and they're saying, nope, that's spam, which basically means that I can't use Proton Mail in a lot of ways. So even though they're building on top of this open protocol email, there's been a couple key players who have basically captured it and forced people to use their services. So I do think that if you look at BlackRock, even though they only have 500,000 Bitcoin, not only, but that's very insignificant in the grand scheme of things here, but they invest in a lot of Bitcoin mining companies, and they have not majority ownership, but significant influence and ownership in a lot of these miners. So in 10 years from now, if they keep going after this, not necessarily the coins, but the hash rate, they're going to be able to control who can transact on Bitcoin layer 1 and who can't. And they'll sell block space in the future. So that's my worst case for Bitcoin, is that it ends up like the internet, which has been captured, and it ends up like email, both protocols, but that have been captured basically by roundabout ways. Like Gmail didn't come onto email and said, we're the only people that can do this. They just went fast enough, they went hard enough, and they basically took controlling interest of email, a protocol that anybody could use. Like I could look at the email protocol and I could start my own email service tomorrow. But because Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, they kind of have like the grasp on it, they can say this is spam. Any email coming from your mail is spam, which is essentially forces people to use their services. So that's my worst case for it. It has nothing to do with price. It has everything to do with who can and can't transact on Bitcoin. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, this is a good reminder here. We've had quite a few zaps today, so I do want to say thank you before we start winding. Actually, you know what we'll do right now? We'll give away some Bitcoin. So get your wallets out, your Lightning wallet, get your Speed wallet out. As we head into the final leg of the last podcast, the last show of 2024. And maybe, just maybe, we had 2100 sats was the winner yesterday on this for the giveaway. Oh, we got 8 people on Rumble watching right now. 9. Rumble, are you there? Let us know in the comments, Rumble, who's watching over there. Is Letha still there? Is Alan still there? Who else is over on Rumble? Should I keep doing it on Rumble, or should I say F it? Okay, here we go. Got your wallets out. Let's give away some sats, courtesy of the Bitcoin Well, our best friends over at the Bitcoin Well. Ready? Set. Go. $210 sats. Kind of lame. They reduced their free Bitcoin from 500 sats to 2100 or 210 sats, and I'm bitching about it. Their free Bitcoin that they're giving to the community here. Let's see if it's been claimed. Yes, it has. But you know what? I do very much appreciate everybody who's been showing up here every day. I do appreciate the people who have been at least giving Bitcoin Well a shot. There's been quite a few people sign up using the link here, and I want to say thanks for that, because it means a lot to me. It shows some support back to our friends at Bitcoin Well, who do give Bitcoin free to the community here every single day. And so we'll do one more. We'll do one more for 2024, because I really do appreciate everybody who shows up every day, and the people who have tried out, the people in North America who have tried out Bitcoin Well as a Bitcoin platform. So let's try one more here. $210 again. I thought we might have some good karma with that. But anyways, still people winning sats is what I like to see. So let's see, has it been claimed? Yeah, both are claimed. So that concludes 2024 on Bitcoin Well. Huge shout out to Bitcoin Well. Massive shout out to Bitcoin Well. If you are in North America, Canada, the US, make sure, just try it out. Set up an account, buy some Bitcoin on there, $100, $200. Try out the platform, see how you like it, see how easy it is to use. Check out their fees, check out everything about it, but at least try it. And I'm telling you this not as because they're sponsoring the show. I don't get any money from Bitcoin Well. They give the community here free sats every day just for showing up in the chat. And very much appreciate that. And I use them myself. That's why I recommend other people use it. They are my exclusive exchange that I use to buy Bitcoin. And you can do a lot of really cool things on there if you're in Canada or the US. So thank you, Bitcoin Well. Make sure you just give them a shot. That's it. That's all I ask. Go to bitcoinwell.com/Jor, Jor, and you get 5 free tosses into the well, also known as a bunch of free Bitcoin. Okay, we got some action over in the Zap stream here. Spaceman says, fun fact is that a seed word may be used multiple times in a phrase. Yes, that is correct. I think I had that happen one time. I was like, what? Is this wrong? Did I do something wrong here? There's the same word twice in one passphrase, or one seed phrase, sorry. Keep mixing those two up. My Path to Fire says, great time to consolidate small balances. Absolutely. Absolutely. My Path to Fire also says the difference between email and Bitcoin is that it costs money to use Bitcoin protocol, and email is free. And so they had to centralize to block out the unlimited spam. That is a good point. That's a great point. And we got Noah over in the Zap stream. Good morning, Noah. Zap stream's kind of buzzing. Rumble's kind of buzzing. Chat's buzzing. We're not going anywhere, I guess. We're going to stick around for a little while. As long as we're buzzing, We're not going anywhere. That is although I do still have to do a podcast and then go drink beer tonight. I'm not doing a show tomorrow. I'll be way too hungover. Pipeline, lots of questions today. You know what happens when you ask a lot of questions? You got to send in a zap or a super chat, because we got 1,000 comments here to catch up on. Live Good with Sabian says, if you are holding a shitcoin, then your gains are always in fiat, which means XRP is worthless. Dollars are not money. 100%. That's a great way to look at it. What are my thoughts on Monero? Honestly, I don't have the same ill feelings towards Monero as I do XRP and Ethereum and stuff like that. Like anybody who's trying to allow people to be more private, I'm all for. Honestly, I just don't think that Monero has the network that Bitcoin does. I don't think it'll ever catch on the way Bitcoin has. It's useful. I've never used it myself. I kind of understand the purpose of it, the privacy aspect of it. Totally understand that. But there are ways that you can do that within Bitcoin. With eCash, with Liquid, swapping back and forth. Not quite as private probably, but still, it doesn't take any, craziness for it to become private. Daniel says you can choose your own words, but that's a super bad idea. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't 100% sure on that. As soon as I said it, I was like, I might be wrong about that. And I was. So you can choose them, but not a good idea. You know, it'd be funny if you just did like the same word 12 times. It's like a teacher creating a test and they put all the answers as C just to fuck with people. Like imagine AI trying to break your wallet and they get to like the last part where it's like dear, 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 dear. I guess they probably figured out though at some point that you're just doing the same thing. Who knows? Hey, who knows? This is a good comment here from Daniel. I don't know what exactly he's talking about here, but I do suggest everybody a couple things I'd say on this. Could you, if you have some time in the next little while, watch some of Andreas' earlier presentations. There's a couple really good ones on there, very informative on like the very foundation of Bitcoin. And I think if you can understand that, the better you understand the ins and outs of Bitcoin and how it all works, the more conviction you have, the more likely you are to not sell your Bitcoin to BlackRock. So check out those. And there's also a video I just watched the other night. We watched we had a family viewing session here about this. I think half the family was asleep, but I was very interested in it. And even though I kind of knew all this, it was still really cool to watch and see. It was about Jekyll Island. Is that? Oh, here it is. It's got 33,000 views on it already. That's pretty impressive. And look at this. I thought this was hilarious. And when I first clicked this video, this little warning came up here. I don't know if you can see it or not. But the video is titled "How the Federal Reserve Secretly Enslaved the World," featuring Ian Carroll. And you can see the warning here that YouTube put up. You're not alone. Suicide crisis helpline. Isn't that crazy? But I do suggest everybody watch this video. It's very interesting, very informative. They actually visit Jekyll Island, where the Federal Reserve was created back in 1913, I believe. Really, really well done documentary. But I was very surprised to see this suicide crisis helpline at the bottom of it. But it's because they mentioned suicide in the video. That's why. But still funny. Suicide's not funny, but the fact that they're tying the Federal Reserve in with suicide, very accurate. Matt says, ran into the local bank owner this morning. Know him pretty well. He was bullish on XRP. Of course he was. Allowed to be held and traded in banks. Note, I own no XRP, just thought it was interesting. He was bullish on it. Yeah, of course he would be. It's a banker's coin. That's why I hate it. I mean, if you had if you had a CBDC, your prime minister would probably love it too. Doesn't mean it's good. All right, what's happening over here on the Zaps? Noah says, I don't want free sats. I just finished cleansing for Safe Harbor. Safe Harbor. My Path to Fire says, couldn't zap the barcode, so zapped you directly, Jor. Happy New Year, man. Thank you. My Path to Fire has been one of the more consistent viewers and one of the more consistent zappers here on the show. So thank you, My Path to Fire. I appreciate it. Wonder why you can't zap the barcode, though. Speaking of the Safe Harbor stuff, I better not get into that. I don't want to get into trouble. I don't want to get into trouble with that. What did I miss here from Jen? Maverick says, I totally know where you are on your journey. When George says entropy in theory, it's a way to generate further deviations of randomness. Yes, sorry. I should be clarifying that kind of stuff. So entropy is just essentially more randomness to how things are created. So if you had 24 words from your list and you add a 25th word that's from the entire world, that adds more randomness to it. It'd be a lot harder for something to crack your seed phrase, to pair your public key and your private key together with your words. And if you add a 25th word, it makes it harder for somebody to guess it. It makes it more random. So yes, thank you, Maverick. I should be clarifying more on that. Hey, Jason, good morning. I'm a little bit behind here, but good to see you, my friend. Jason is another guy that I had the pleasure of talking with in the last little while, and it's awesome. I'm just so this is kind of what I've been telling people at Christmas and stuff. It's like I'm just so excited that everything's happening as it is. Like even in the last couple of months since Trump got into office, it basically poured rocket fuel on everything. But even before that, just the people that I've got to talk to in 2024 from around the world, from the US, from Portugal, from Ireland, from everywhere. It's amazing to me how excited people are around the world for Bitcoin. It's not something that's just limited to your certain area, or it's becoming popular in a certain part of the world. This thing's spreading across the whole world at a very quick pace. I know it doesn't feel like it some days, but this thing is really growing. And I wish you could sit on some of the conversations that I've had in the last couple of months of where people are and where they want to go with it. Is Mike a bot? Oh, Mike Penis is back today. I don't know if Mike Penis is a bot or not, but he showed up for 2 days in a row. Captain Codeman says 2 worst cases. It goes to 0 due to a flaw, or it goes to 1 billion after you lost all yours. Yeah, I don't think it going to 0 is a possibility, but of course. Sorry, a likely possibility. It's definitely a possibility. Okay, well, we're going to confirm that Mike Penis here is not a bot. But, okay, sorry, I forgot to check on this too. Too much Monero chat in the conversation today. But that's okay. That's what the chat's for. Phoenix Love says block space is scarce. Likely will be fuel for tension in the future. Exactly. That's exactly where I'm going with this. And Timber Crasher says the same. Next Bitcoin war, instead of block wars, it's going to be block space wars. Yeah, that's kind of how I see this whole thing going too. And I mean, you have to keep in mind here that there are still things that we can do about this, right? Like we're still at the very early stages of this whole thing. And believe it or not, we have a big influence here and a big responsibility for the future of Bitcoin. It might not feel like it a lot of days, but we do. We absolutely do. And a couple of reasons for that is because number one, the individuals hold, I think, between the individual coins and the lost coins, about 75% of the Bitcoin right now, which isn't everything. It's not a proof of stake coin like Ethereum is, where ownership dictates voting. But it is part of it. It's a big part of it. And so we need to keep the sats for ourselves, honestly. And that's why I have no issue with Michael Saylor calling Bitcoin digital capital, because it is. And I really wish that more people would look at it that way, in terms of, if you looked at it like currency, most people think of like dollars and their bank account, their checking account, where you can spend it. And if you lose it, you can just make more of it. And that's not necessarily the case with Bitcoin. And so if people just saw it like that, I think they'd be a lot more likely to just trade it for fiat when you compare it to a currency. But if you think about Bitcoin as digital capital, you compare it to something like real estate, or something like scarce real estate, not all real estate, but like farmland, like good farmland, oceanfront property. You can't create more farmland. You cannot create more oceanfront property. And so if everybody looked at it like digital capital, they wouldn't be selling their coins to BlackRock. And that's how we keep Bitcoin for as it was intended to be used, to separate money from state. And if we look at it like a currency and we're always selling it and giving it back to the BlackRocks and the US government and the MicroStrategies, then it kind of loses that purpose. So if you look at it like digital capital that you can spend, that's why it's so much better than, in my opinion, than farmland and oceanfront property. Because you can hold it the same, you can lend against it the same, and there will be options in the very near future where you can go to the bank and say, I have this amount of Bitcoin, I want a loan on that. Just like a farmer would go to the bank and say, I have 2 sections of land, I need a new truck, I need some dollars. So you can use it for that, but you can also go to the store and pay for a coffee with it. You can also buy $10 worth of it. You can also send it on Zapstream or on NOSTR with somebody who you get value from. So it's not one or the other, it's both. But if more people looked at it like digital capital, I think that the people who hold it now would hold it for much longer, instead of looking at it like a currency. Anyways, Stephen, I highlighted your comment here. Happy New Year, my friend. In Ireland, I got a really good video from Stephen over the holidays from his family. He was gathering for Christmas, and he sent a little video about talking about Bitcoin and a few other things, and saying hi to the Canadian. So cheers, Stephen. That video made my day. And Happy New Year to you. I really appreciate all the support that you've given to the channel here and to me in 2024. It definitely does not go unnoticed. That's for damn sure. Oh, we got some more zaps coming in here. I would love to play Fat Zap Friday, even though it's not Friday today, but it feels like a Friday. Maybe we'll end the show with Fat Zap Friday. But we got 2,000 sats here from Jason. Happy New Year, Jor. Thank you, Jason. Another big supporter of the channel here. And we got 10,000 sats. Wow. Happy New Year to Jor and Arnie. Thank you for the great content. Holy man. Thank you. Thank you. That is awesome. All right, what else do we have here? What happened here, Jason? Says that's bearish AF on the part of Bitcoin. Well, what are we talking about there? Keep Rumble. Okay, well, we had 10 people watching on Rumble. But I wish the comments could show up here from Rumble. I wish there was a way to do that. All right. Oh yeah, inflation affecting everything. Yeah, they cut that's what we're talking about here. They cut the sats from 500 minimum to 210. But it's gonna keep happening. Everything we do, everything we see is gonna be just keep cutting in half as Bitcoin becomes more valuable. So that's what I've been saying for the last 365 days and beyond here, is like, do not take anything for granted here. Anytime you can trade $1 for sats, anytime you can go onto Fountain and listen to a podcast and earn free sats, anytime you can go onto ZBD and take a poll and earn free sats, do not take that stuff for granted, because they are not going to be here for forever. And we're seeing that. We are seeing that. All right, we got another. Oh yeah, okay. Just give me a sec here, Alan. Alan zapped. This is the kind of stuff I like, when people zap and ask questions. Actually, you know what? We're gonna give him priority for that. All right. So Alan says, could you please give a final pitch for the 8 Satoshis membership? I'm interested, and today is the last day to join. Yes, absolutely. This is I kind of talked about the things I'm going to be focused on in 2025, and I think that the 8 Satoshis venture is going to be my biggest focus for 2025. And I haven't been posting a whole lot of videos on this, and the reason why I haven't is because I'm a big believer in like things that are meant to be, and I don't want to push this on anybody. I want people to see the value in this, the vision of this, and if you don't see it, or you're not here watching this today, then it wasn't meant to be. So I haven't really shared any clips specifically that I think could get some traction on YouTube. And that was intentional, because I've posted a lot of different things on this, or talked about it quite a bit and shared it within the group here, but I haven't gone out of my way to promote this at all. But what it is if you think about a few years from now, and if you think about where this whole thing is heading, I know a lot of people think this is going to happen all, and someone's going to flip a switch and we're going to be on a Bitcoin standard. But you have to understand that for the next 2, 5, 10, 20 years, there's going to be people out there who need help learning about Bitcoin. Not necessarily about learning about Bitcoin, but learning all the different things you can do with it, and learning how to protect it and send it and store it and lend against it. Like, just think about your own personal network right now. Think about how many people within that network understand Bitcoin. I'm guessing most people here would have about 50 to 100 people that they consider their network of people. That could be friends, family, coworkers, people in your life. Think about how many people understand Bitcoin or even own Bitcoin. It's one thing to own Bitcoin, but it's a different one to understand Bitcoin. So my theory here is that over the next 5-10 years, there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in learning about Bitcoin. And so what 8 Satoshis is going to do is it's going to take, I think we have about 50 people who have signed up for this so far. It's going to take those 50 people. It's going to compile everything that they've learned so far and put it into like a library, a resource for people. And those 50 people, when they have their friends, family, coworkers, whoever, come to them and ask, can you teach me about Bitcoin? I need to learn how to do this stuff. They're just going to direct them to 8 Satoshis. And it's going to be a membership. It's going to be like $5, $8, $10 a month that they can sign up for. They'll have access to all this information as part of their membership. And it's going to be a very good way for people, because if you think about it now, how people learn about Bitcoin is they log onto the computer, they Google Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin? They get directed to some random YouTube channel. It could be this one. But at that stage, you don't know who you can trust. You don't know what information is good. You don't know anything. And so you're desperately looking for anything to cling on to. And a lot of people get significantly burned by doing that. So with this route, they already have the inherent trust built within you. And you say, join this 8 Satoshis Bitcoin network, Bitcoin community. You get access to other Bitcoiners. You can buy and sell with them. You can transact. You can look at any video you want from a whole bunch of different people. And so they sign up for this membership. And so what I'm going to be doing here in 2026 is I'm going to change my Patreon to 8 Satoshis. So let's say there's 50 members of 8 Satoshis that join, which they already have. And each one of those finds 1 or 2 people within their network right off the bat to join this. So that would be what? 100 people, 100 new people times $5. So let's even say $500 a month going into this Patreon. And as a member of 8 Satoshis, you're going to be in equal ownership. You get equal ownership and you get equal voting rights for things. So you will own just as much as me. Even though I'll be bringing a whole bunch of people into this community, you're going to benefit the exact same amount as I do. So what does that look like then? We get $500 a month from people. We provide the value, we provided the resources, we provided the network here. And that $500 gets paid out and we automatically convert it into Bitcoin. And that's stored as our treasury. And because everybody's equal owners within this venture, we get to vote and say, okay, we got, I don't know, 20 million sats in the treasury here. Do we want to pay out a dividend at the end of the year? Everybody votes on it. So we either keep it in there, we allocate it to something else. Maybe it's a initiative, a local meetup somebody's doing. We vote on everything, how that Bitcoin gets distributed. So it could be in the form of paying for somebody to do a local meetup, paying to promote a podcast, paying to boost something. We vote on it though, with the sole intention of growing the Bitcoin network, growing the Bitcoin community, growing Team Bitcoin. And so then we decide. So every year, maybe we pay out dividends to all 50 owners and they get paid out in Bitcoin. So 2025 for me is going to be spent building the library, building the resources, figuring out a good legal structure, whether that's a corporation, a trust, however that looks, but everybody will be equal owners in it. And so to me, the two whys, I guess I should have maybe started with this, but the reason why I'm doing this, because it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense financially for me to do this. It's pretty stupid actually, to convert money that's all going to me towards 50 people instead. But I really see the power in networks. And when everybody's working towards a similar goal and everybody has equal incentives, that's how things really grow and scale. And so for me, the two reasons why I'm doing this is number one, because I can't scale this myself. We have over 100 people in the community now. I'm doing everything myself. And I really want to add as much value to people. And I feel like the more I spend in it, the more people that join, the less I can give to them, if that makes any sense. So I can't scale this thing myself as it is. It's impossible. And so with the community though, we can scale it. And the second part is that with the Living the Future, for the people who are in there right now, you'd notice that it's not just me providing value. Somebody joins a Signal chat, they ask questions, somebody else from the community answers those questions. They should be rewarded for that. The community should be growing, not my bank account. The community should be rewarded for helping each other. And so that's how I see this. I want to give back. I'm just kind of the guy who put it together, who connected everybody. But if you look through that chat, somebody asks a question, let's say Noah answers it. I'm the one making money, but Noah's the one answering questions. It just doesn't feel right to me. So anyways, if you want to join here, you can join the Patreon. There's right at the top, it says join the Living the Future. You can find the 8 Satoshis group there. And so what it's going to look like for 2025 is that everybody who's on that list at the end of today at midnight tonight is going to be partially signed 8 Satoshis member, just like a partially signed Bitcoin transaction. So you're going to be in, but you pay your fees for 2025. You help build this thing out. And then for 2026, you stop paying fees. So December 31st, 2025, a year from today, if you're a member of this, your fees, you stop paying fees and you start earning fees. Because that's when things flip to going to me, to the venture. And all that that cash gets converted into Bitcoin every month. And you start building a treasury. And every year you get paid Bitcoin dividends if that's what the group decides. So it ends today. So thanks for asking that, Alan. That's I meant to talk about it today, and you kind of just reminded me of it. So I hope that makes sense for people. I know that was kind of a bit of a rant there, but that's okay. I think it's important. Any other questions on that, I guess? Well, I kind of just went off on it, but if you have any questions, if you're looking to join, just throw a question in the chat and I'm happy to answer. Anyways, BTC Hunger Pain says, did you ever do a home loan for more Bitcoin? You talked about it a while back, Paul Michael Saylor long-term loan at low interest rate. I am still working on that, honestly. And I'm hoping to get it done before January 20th for obvious reasons. Alan, I hope that made sense. If you have any more questions, you can just reach out to me somehow and I'll answer, or throw it in the chat. Johnny says, can you comment on why MicroStrategy is not rebounding like Bitcoin and dropping like it is? End of the year selling, taxes? It could be anything. I look at MicroStrategy very similar to how I look at Bitcoin. Like I don't care what it does day to day. I spent a couple weeks when it was going up, trying to game it, trying to play with leverage and stuff, and I won't be doing that again. I got my MicroStrategy shares. They're going to be there for a very long time. And if it dips down, just like I look at Bitcoin, I'll just buy more. Good morning, Raven. Good morning. XRP belongs in the trash. Yes, agreed. Volunteerism says, why are gold bugs stuck in the past? They don't seem to understand gold has value and they do not understand Bitcoin. And since they don't get either, they don't actually understand money. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think a lot of gold bugs actually do understand money, which is why they hold gold. But I think it's their ego. I think they look at gold as an asset that's been around for thousands of years and Bitcoin that's been around for 16 years. And change is hard for people. Really. You have to be in the right place with the right state of mind to start understanding Bitcoin. All right, I'm trying to get some new people here. That makes me want to get a loan and buy Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean it's yeah, okay, I got you, Jason. Yeah, 210 sats. And Captain Coadman says the Bitcoin Fossey used to give away 5 Bitcoin for free. And that's how I see this stuff like Bitcoin Well. That's how I see stuff like Fountain. We're going to look back 10 years from now and say, wow, you used to be able to listen to a podcast and earn 50 sats. We'll look at that. They'll look at that the same way that we look at giving away 5 Bitcoin 10 years ago. Hey, good morning, Adam. Good to see you, my friend. Daniel said, I think you need to hand out some blue wrenches in 2025. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. People can, there's just a lot of conversation here. It's hard for me to find good comments to chat about. Monkey Brain loves gold. That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Misunderstood says, can you make a video about Canadian taxes for the 365-day course? Yeah, I can. But I mean, what would you like to know about it? Because like you don't want to know my opinion on taxes. And yeah, just everything about it. It's just like, it's ick to me. So, I mean, I could talk about a few different ways and how to optimize taxes for sure. And I'll maybe write that down. But yeah, the 365-day, there's no time limit on that. You can join that whenever you want. However, I will say, if you join that, if you're somebody, so the 365 course is going to be 1 Bitcoin video every day for 365 days on a variety of topics, head to toe, start to finish. You're going to have much more conviction over Bitcoin, and you're going to have much better security around your Bitcoin after going through this. But the one thing I will say is that if you do sign up for the 365-day course today, you'll actually be included in the 8 Satoshis venture as well, because it's every tier above 8 Satoshis gets included in the 8 Satoshis venture. And so the 365-day course is a little bit more, but you get a video a day on Bitcoin from me. And depending on how many people join, because it doesn't really make sense for me to do a weekly live call if there's 5 people in there. But if we hit a certain threshold, I'm going to be doing a weekly private show for people just within this group. If they want to come in and ask any specific questions, it's a lot easier for me to do that than try to pretend I know what everybody needs to learn. So I think that would be very beneficial depending on how many people join. Plus, I also want to do a secondary signal chat for the 365 club, where everybody's kind of at the same page on the same spot in their journey. Everybody can ask questions. I'll be in there. And I might ask a couple of my other buddies to join as well. Some very knowledgeable people. Even the Living the Future community. We have a couple celebrities in there, Bitcoin celebrities in there that chime in once in a while. So that's what I would say on that. If you are interested in joining that, I would join today, because then you get put into the 8 Satoshis venture as well. 2 for 1. Oh, back sore. All right, so should we wrap things up? Was there anything else I want to talk about? Is there anything else I want to talk about? No, I'm going to save the rest for my podcast today. I'm going to do it right after this. So I'll talk about some New Year's. I'm going to do a show today talking about New Year's resolutions and some of mine and how I do it myself, and why 2024 was the most successful, I would say. Not so much financially, but the most successful year of my life and how I approached it. And so I'm going to talk about that, and just to solidify my process going into 2025, and to share with others, just in case there's somebody out there who would get value from it. So that'll probably be posted either today or tomorrow on Fountain, Spotify. Honestly, anything tax related and any advice you have, I joined yesterday. Oh, there you go. Misunderstood, one of our newest Club 365 members. And again, so the last 2 things I'd say on that is, if you are interested in joining that, make sure you do it today, because then you get automatically put into the 8 Satoshis venture that I was talking about. But the second thing there is, like, even if you decide to join 2 or 3 weeks into it, like, it's not going to be, you have to start on January 1st. It's going to be, even if you started in March, you could just do two a days, watch 2 videos every day and try to catch up. So probably for the first couple months, and then I'm going to sell it as like a whole course afterwards. So I'm going to be doing these videos either way, regardless of how many people are in there. But it looks like we got a couple people who have already signed up. Mr. Yulfang, hello, good morning. Great to see you. Speaking of Bitcoin Ben, I think Mr. Yulfang is one of the what'd you call it? Regulars over on Ben's channel. Okay. Well, let's wrap things up here. I'm going to leave the show here. How can I do this? Let's try something here. No, I don't know if I'll be able to do that or not. I'm going to go to Wave Lake. I'm going to play Fat Zap Friday. And people can send in any amounts you want to, but stick around and listen to this song. It is, I think it's my favorite song on the album. I say that about all of them, but I think Fat Zap Friday is a classic. So again, if you're not on Wave Lake yet, make sure you get on there. It's another good way to earn free sats. You can listen to a couple songs every day and earn free sats with a Wave Lake account. So you get yourself a profile on here. The way to fund your wallet is you just go to your profile, you click wallet, you click fund, you put the amount of sats that you want to fund your wallet with, 500, 1,000, 20,000, and then you get a little QR code to pop up. And you send some sats. That's how you fund your wallet. And then you can zap songs. You can support artists within Wave Lake, including the Bitcoin Amigos. So you leave that on there, and then you go to catalog, and you type in Bitcoin, and the Amigos is second from the top. And we're going to end with Fat Zap Friday today. So with that, I hope everybody has an amazing New Year's Eve, whatever you're getting into tonight, what kind of trouble you're getting into. I'm sure some people will be sitting at home enjoying their night in bed by midnight or 12:05. And some people like me will probably be out till the wee hours of the night drinking some beers. So it has been an absolute pleasure to get to spend time with you guys every single morning for the last 365 days. I am extremely excited for what's coming here in 2025. And I just want to give a special thanks to everybody who tunes in here, not just for showing up and adding to the show, but for taking on the responsibility here, because this is not an easy thing to do. And if you've been in Bitcoin for a little while, you understand how difficult it is to tune out the bullshit and focus on what you know is right in your heart and soul. It is tough when everybody's telling you you're crazy, you're a dipshit, and you're just focused on getting as many sats as you can and adding as much value you can to whatever you're involved in. So on behalf of myself, the family, and your family, thank you for doing everything that you do here. It might not seem like a lot of days, but it's going to pay significant dividends in the future. So happy New Year's Eve. Let's listen to Fat Zap Friday on the way out. And if you feel like sending any sats to Arnie's wallet here, you can use the QR code or send it to his address there at the bottom of the screen. So happy New Year, everybody. Thanks again. And we'll see you right back here on Thursday morning, January 2nd, 2025. Bye-bye.
Zap's a king. Zap thing. And the Bitcoin Amigos Friday stream. Energy high, it's like a dream. Music pumps the price higher. Chris, Jordan, Jerry inspired. It's Fat Zap Friday. You might zap less on any other day, but today is Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Real fat zaps coming in hot, spreading the love, hitting the spot. Yeah. Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Community loves to show their support, hype in the chat like it's a sport. Friday stream turned up to 10. Fat lightning strikes again and again. Fat Zap Friday. You might zap less on any other day, but today is Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Real fat zaps coming in hot, spreading the love, hitting the spot. Yeah. Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Lightning from your fingertips, like a kiss from orange lips. Zap's a king, it's Zap's a king. It's a zap thing. Yeah, it's Fat Zap Friday. You might zap less on any other day, but today is Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Real fat zaps coming in hot, spreading the love, hitting the spot. Yeah, Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Zap's a king. It's a zap thing. Zap's a king. Zap's a king. Zap's a king. It's a zap thing. Zap's a king. It's a zap thing. Zap's a king. Zap's a king. It's a zap thing. Yeah. Zap's king. Bitcoin amigos in the house. Well, on a beach, really. On a beach in El Salvador, sitting around a campfire. The Bitcoin amigos party while the price climbs higher. Sats you save today become freedom tomorrow. Bitcoin is the way. Prosperity will follow. Jerry, Jordan, Chris, give a toast to all amigos worldwide. Hard work is paying off, though we're keeping our laser eyes. Sats you save today become freedom tomorrow. Bitcoin is the way. Prosperity will follow. El Salvador, sitting around a campfire. The Bitcoin amigos party while the price climbs higher. Jerry, Jor, and Chris give a toast to all amigos worldwide. Hard work is paying off, though we're keeping our laser eyes. Sats you save today, become freedom tomorrow. Bitcoin is the way, prosperity will follow. Sats you save today, become freedom tomorrow. Bitcoin is the way, prosperity will follow. On a beach in El Salvador, sitting around a campfire. The Bitcoin amigos party while the price climbs higher. Jerry, Jor, and Chris give a toast to all amigos worldwide. Hard work is paying off, though we're keeping our laser eyes. Sats you save today, become freedom tomorrow. Bitcoin is the way, prosperity will follow. Sats you save today, become freedom tomorrow. Bitcoin is the way, prosperity will follow. Bitcoin amigos, all the way, every day, peace.